And we're here.
We are live. Welcome back. It's Tuesday. How are
Yes.
you doing?
Oh, I'm all good. I'm all good. Tired as hell for some reason, but I'm good and I'm ready to go at this topic
Yes, let's talk about the world of broken people.
because we have a world full
Oh,
of
broken.
broken people.
Jeez.
And I think some people don't even understand what that means.
Yeah.
Some people don't get it. Like, what is really a broken person? Like, they don't understand what it is. And
Um,
it could stand for so many different things too.
One of the things I think, like my definition of a broken person is a person who got hurt significantly and
Hmm.
chose not to even try to heal from it.
Right.
And if you choose to not like if you make a conscious decision that going to some kind of like talk therapy or seeing a psychologist or a psychiatrist after you have like a nasty breakup or after your parents die or after you go through like a really unfortunate milestone, like sometimes people, I think, if you've been in a bad car accident or you've had some kind of like, if your house burns down or your dog dies, you need a little bit of like talk therapy to get it through.
Right.
Because like, the whole point that you're strong enough to process everything that goes on in your life your whole life long without asking for any help is ridiculous.
To me, it's like whatever trauma a person is going through,
Mm.
and they don't take the time to get their self together, to get their mind right, to get everything, to put everything in perspective. A lot of people still live by that old slogan where they say the best way to get over a relationship is to get under somebody else. That's
Which is good for about a half hour.
right, right. But it really doesn't do for you what needs to be done. So, like you said, for that moment, you're good, you're happy, but right after that, you're back and sometimes worse off because now you're confused, you don't know what's going on. It's a lot that you're dealing with. So the whole thing is I really don't think the best way to get over someone is to get under someone else. I don't think that works. I put that in the same class as the happy wife, happy life. I put
Yeah,
those
it's not
together.
necessarily the truth.
Right,
Happy spouse, happy house.
right, right. I
Yeah.
think if you're a team and you work together, you'll have a happy house.
Yeah, there's no, the whole thing like there's no I in team, blah 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 blah
Right.
blah. Yeah,
All the cliches.
all of them. And what do you like? So, what do you do when you start seeing the pink flags associated with a broken person? Like, I know myself.
Hmm.
I know you've said that you are Captain Save a Ho,
Right.
but I am definitely like the man rehab. If he is broken, he will find me and I will just give it, keep pounding it out until, until I realize that, like, I'm never going to be able to do this. And sometimes that's like really unhealthy.
Hmm.
but I keep doing it. Like, I don't see that people that give you the sob story on the first date. They're not talking bad about their former spouse or their, former partner, whatever. Their When I was young, their parents, their family structure, whatever. They're not talking bad. They're just like, letting you know that their needs weren't met, that, they're in a situation where they just like need more love. And
I also think if you're on a date and
then,
say
yeah.
it's your first date with
Mhm.
someone, we don't need to talk about our past relationships. We're just really getting to know each other. So we could talk about our likes and our dislikes, but we don't have to get deep into like our past relationships. Now, after a couple of dates, if we still are interested, then we start talking about past issues, past relationships, things of that nature. But I think, like I said, if you're coming out of a bad relationship or any traumatic situation, you should take time to heal yourself. You should take time to get your mind right and make sure you're good because you don't want to bring that negativity into your next relationship. You don't want to continue the negative stuff in a new situation. So I tell people after a breakup or whatever, wait a little while, a couple of months or whatever, and then start going out. Don't just jump right back into the dating pool. I understand as you get older, people don't want to wait forever, but I still think you have to wait long enough to get yourself together, to get your situation right, to get your mind right, and see where you want to go and what you want to do.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to go talk to a professional
Yes.
because they don't when you talk to a professional, they only know you. They're only worried about you. They're not going to take some secondhand therapy like, "Oh, well." And I remember doing this with a therapist like like after a breakup like a few years back where I would be like, "Oh, yeah, but his situation was so." And she was like, "I don't care. I'm not his therapist. Tell him to get his own therapist." And I
Right.
was like, "Why are you so cold?"
Because I'm here for you, not him.
Yeah, she said it a little bit more eloquently than that. But yeah, that was pretty much like, yeah. She was like, "Oh, poor baby, but I'm not his therapist." And I was like, "Oh." She goes, "Every time you talk about that person, I'm going to take it a little personal, like you're trying to hide something from me." And I was like, hmm. And then eventually I got in a flow where I just started talking only about me. And
And sometimes people don't get it. Like, you have to understand sometimes you have to let go of your old situation in order to build something new. Like, you can't get stuck. You might have been in a relationship where there were trust issues, whatever issues you had, but you can't let that weigh you down. So you have to get yourself together and then move forward. At
the
least that's
most
what I feel.
important thing that you got to learn, the most important thing that you need to learn before you go from one relationship to another is to forgive yourself.
Yes,
A lot of
100%.
people, when they go through a breakup, they're going over every big fight and how they handled it, and every situation and how they handled it. Like that time I raised my voice, was I right because I got loud, or did I get loud because I was right? And you're
Mhm.
like, it's like it's all going on in your head. Go talk to someone with like a wall full of degrees and have them work it out. Don't bring that bag full of shit into your next relationship.
Right. You don't need that.
Yeah. Don't even bring that bag full of steaming bullshit into your next first date.
And if you're on a first date and that person can't stop talking about their ex, there goes your pink flag automatically. Like I don't need that. And I'm the type are we here? Am I here with your ex or am I here with you? I would say that because I don't I don't believe in dealing with the nonsense. Like if we're gonna have a nice time, I'll even say we don't even have to be here romantically, but even for a friend, like let you don't need to talk about all your old stuff. Let's get past that. Enjoy this time and see where this takes us. That's it.
Yeah. When you meet somebody on a first date, like I had this first date once with this guy, and he was a nice enough guy. But when he walked in, and this was an example of like me being the pink flag, because now that I'm dipping my toe into the super polluted dating pool, I'm seeing a lot of my own pink flags. Like I had somebody ask me on a date this week, and they were like, um, "Well, what do you do?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm in human services, and I do this, I do that, and I have a podcast." "Oh, what do you talk about?" "Relationships." Click, 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 clickety click.
What
No,
do you
he was like, "Would you talk about me?" I'm like, "Yeah, you would be fair game."
think? Hmm.
And I'm just throwing it out there. Dating world, if you are watching this, I will talk about you. I won't name you by name, but yeah, I'm gonna talk about
But you would definitely talk about your experience.
yes. I won't name names. I won't talk shapes and sizes, but I will discuss you because that's where I'm at.
And some people are petrified of that.
Why is that? That's a pink flag in itself. What are you
Because
gonna do? Like intimate stuff, I will never kiss and tell. It's not
but some people are just not secure in their own self. So already if you're dealing with someone that's not secure and then they find out that they could be the object of a podcast, that sends them into a tailspin. So I don't
yeah.
know.
I mean, this is what I think. I think that if you're afraid of getting um, called out on this podcast, then you probably didn't have good intentions in the first place. Because I think anyone that would be in a relationship with you or with me or with Mrs. Williams in a very positive way and always be doing the right thing, we would never have anything bad to say. But if you're gonna walk in the first date and be like, "Ah, I'm sorry I'm late. That fucking bitch was putting me through the mill."
Hmm.
Good to meet you. I'm gonna go now because you
Yeah,
need
that
to.
that'll put the sign up right away for me. Like
Yeah,
I don't think so. I'll look at it like something's nah. I'm good. We could have this date, but I don't think we're gonna have a second. But I have been on dates where I was like, in the beginning of the date, I was like, I don't think we're gonna do a second date. And by the time the date was over, I was like, all right, it wasn't that bad. I'll see what else we could work with. Let's see if we could get through another date. Because like I said, sometimes people are anxious, people are not that secure, especially after they just came out of a messed up relationship. So I say you give people an opportunity. So you have that first date. If it's pretty decent, we could see what's up with the second date.
See, that's a softer response than I thought that I would get from you. Because I like a first date that knocks my socks off.
Mm.
I'm not even gonna lie. I like a first date that makes me go home and start like, and be like a 16-year-old. Like I'm already like it's all going on in my head. I got all the feels, top to bottom, side to side. Like
Mhm.
my head's going, my heart's going, my body's going. And it's like, yeah, that to me gets a second date. Because if I'm not feeling that, and don't get me wrong, I never act upon it on the first date, never under pain of death. Because we've talked about this before. If I think that that's all I want from you, that's fine. But if I want anything more than that, I'm going to hold back and wait and like wait for everything to be like on the level that I need. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's there's no such thing. There's no second chance at a first impression.
That's true.
So when you go on a first date with somebody, show up with looking good and smelling good and show up almost like you would show up on a job interview.
And see, I'm a little different with that because I like to feel at ease.
I don't mean
With-
show up in a three-piece suit, but show
Right.
up with that attitude like, "This is why I should be your next person. This is why I could be like your next love."
See, I go into the situation where I want us both to feel at ease. I want you to be yourself because everybody comes out with that,
Yeah.
oh, I'm the perfect person. No, no one's perfect, no one's great. Let's just enjoy one another, see where this is going. So that's why I said if the first date isn't perfect, that doesn't kill it for me. I would give somebody a second date depending on how good or bad the first date was.
And how imperfect it actually was.
Right.
It depends on what the imperfect thing was. That's how I feel. Like, we talked about this like a few weeks ago. If like I eat really healthy. Like I eat most of my diet is plant-based. I do eat meat, but not a lot of it. Like this whole thing. And if somebody's going to tell me like, "Oh, I'm seeing a cardiologist and I don't eat any vegetables and things like that." Why is that? Why are you treating yourself that way? That's kind of a broken person in my opinion. Like I don't take very good care of myself
That
because
person might not know any better.
you know what? There's a lot of information to be had in the world. If you can find all your like vaccine conspiracies and 2020 election conspiracies, then you can find out why vegetables are good for you.
This is true.
Isn't it though?
This is true. But you also want to see how flexible a person is. Because, like you said, a person may not have been doing the vegetables and stuff like that. You speak to them about it, and now, okay, that makes sense. Let me try this. See, because
Right,
they
right. And in a cute way, this person that I had a date with, they were like, "Oh, I never eat vegetables, and you can't make me." And
mhm,
I was like, "I bet I could." No, really, you can't. Thank you. Next. Okay, check please.
mm,
I'm sitting there eating a salad, and I'm like, "This was a really good salad." Oh, I'll never eat a salad. All right, well, this was good. Yeah, this was good talk. Okay, and you got what? High cholesterol, high triglycerides, you know, high blood
that's a
pressure.
that's a person that I know.
We all know that person. At our
Right.
age, we all know that person.
That I also know I'm never gonna like. We're never. It's not gonna be a connection. So I already see that, and I'll take it for that, and just keep moving. Like I said, I'll try to enjoy what we have of the date, but I already see like it's not going where it should be going. So I look at it, okay, whatever, and keep it moving. That's it. But a broken person, a person can be broken on so many different levels.
Oh yeah,
It-
these are like low level broken.
right. People
Yeah.
could be, it could be physical, it could be mental, it could be spiritually, so many different situations. And you really have to, even for myself, I would say you really have to take your time and sometimes look within yourself and say, I'm not ready yet. I just gotta chill. I'll go hang out with my homeboys, my homegirls. So I'll still get out, but I'm definitely not ready to date. And people don't do that. Everybody's so in a rush for everything now that they fly through relationships. And to me that doesn't work.
No,
And
it doesn't work.
don't bring all your BS to the next person. Get over your last situation,
Yeah.
then work on something new. But I don't know, it's just a funny situation. I feel people are so caught up and the way things look and what and how people perceive them that they don't even take time to make sure they're good. They just want to look great for everyone else. And I'm a complete I don't give a damn what the next person thinks about me. As long as I know I'm good, and as long as people in my inner circle know I'm good, we're good. That's it. That's all that matters. So we don't even have to go through the games and the nonsense. Just find a person that you can click with. You got to have some stuff in common. Everything don't have to be compatible, but you want to have some stuff that you could sit down and actually have a conversation, and you have to be open to have a conversation. So, and then you'll take it from there.
Yeah, and I think one of the most important pink flags you have to look for on the first date is the word no and how the other person is using it. Like, how are they throwing around the word no? Is it what's their positivity to negativity ratio? I think that's important to gauge because sometimes like you're you're sitting there and you're enjoying the vibe and they're really keeping it light, not talking about anything, talking about like how about them Yankees and how about, Aaron Judge's contract and what about like the Philadelphia Eagles are 12-1 and how we doing and you know, but no, I don't this and no, I don't that. I don't like to fly. You know, I don't eat certain foods. I don't like to fly. Um, I dated somebody for a year and they were never introduced to my kids. Uh, look for the patterns of no. You know, yeah, when my kid comes home from college, I won't be able to see you for that whole month. Why is that? You live by yourself. Like, why is that? I mean, I don't want you to like see me every day when your kid's home from college. That's preposterous. But in the same token, and I mean, this is like a mild exaggeration, but it's still within the realm of possibility. Like I can't see you and see them at the same time. Okay, then because any relationship you get in, it's got to be what you want too. Like being tolerant of the other person is a beautiful thing. And the main component to any kind of lifelong love is like acceptance. I got to be able to like get you at your level. But
Hmm.
remember, they got to be able to get you at your level too. Don't forget that when you're so busy trying to get somebody else, find somebody to love you or find somebody to love, you got to find somebody that's going to love you and wants you to love them in like a way that's comfortable to you.
Yes, that's 100% true.
Yeah, because if somebody thinks that love is X and Y and Z and that that's what you have to do in order for them to believe that they're being loved, that's some kind of bullshit.
And people don't understand that. Like, and my thing with that is also before I get somebody to love me, I want to know that we like each other first. It's like I could be attracted to you physically. I could think you're the most gorgeous person in the world. But as soon as you open up your mouth, I'm like, oh damn, here we go. And we have nothing in common except a physical exchange. Like, I don't like your politics. I don't like your religion. I don't like this or that. So you have to get past all that, and you have to be able to say, all right, I actually like spending time with you. So now I know that we like each other. Now let's see where it goes from there. And you don't have to put a timetable on it, but like you said, if you dating someone for a year and they have never met your kids, I think that's a little strange also. Like a whole year?
Yeah, and like I'm I'm a family person. I do a
Mhm.
lot of things with my family. And if you don't want to if you don't want to go with me and hang out with them for like not a day, like an entire weekend here, an entire weekend there, like go on little short trips with them and things like that. If you're not that person, you're not for me. It's like thank you next. And that's got nothing to do with any of my former relationships. I just,
That's just you.
that's just me. That's not about, I've tried it the other way with like, yeah, I could have a boyfriend who never will set foot in the home of my sisters or my nieces or, my cousins. No, that's a big fat no. I tried it. It didn't work for me. It made me unhappy. Thank you. Next.
And at least you understand that. At least you know that, all right, this is a situation. This is what I expect. I'm letting you know what I expect and what I'm about. And if we could work with it, cool. If we can't, go your way and I'll go my way.
Yeah,
That's
like
it.
I want to go, go with my family to the beach, chill out, get lit up in the yard by the fire, like in the evening, get up and go to brunch and like do stuff like that. And if you feel like that's like a lot and you don't like a family that will like turn up, full grown adults that will turn up all weekend, yeah, you know what? Not for you. But don't make me wait like X amount of time to tell me.
Right.
And if you could give me a reasonable explanation for why that doesn't work. You don't actually, nobody owes you an explanation, but it is kind that like, look, I feel overwhelmed around a lot of people. Maybe we could do it like in a small group with like just two people a couple of times and see how it works. But just whatever. You know, and that's just an example. It's like, or I don't watch football. You're not for me. Oh, I don't have a favorite NFL team. Really? How do you live? Like, what do you do on Sunday? Watch Lifetime movies? No shade on Lifetime, but what do you do? Watch like Hallmark movies?
Hey, I
What?
watch Hallmark movies.
Huh?
I
What?
watch Hallmark. Yes.
Do you?
Yes.
I've never seen one in my whole life.
And people are so shocked. Like, you'll watch that? I'm like, yeah, they're funny. I don't mind.
Oh my
But
god.
but then I'm into my Knicks, my Jets, my Rangers,
Yeah, yeah.
Devils. So I'm all over the place with it sometimes. But you gotta find that happy medium where you're knowing like, all right, this is what I'm trying to do. This is what I'll deal with. This is what I won't deal with. I may bend on this a little bit, but I'm not bending on this at all. Like you're a lady that's into sports. So I don't think you'll bend on a guy that's not into sports at all.
I tr- I tried it. I really did. I tried it. And I have a not suitable for this podcast story about the Plaxico Burress catch many years ago during the Giant playoff game against the Green Bay Packers.
Hmm.
It's not even suitable for this podcast, but I'll definitely share it with you one of these days.
Okay.
And that was pretty much like, you know, the my former partner was like, "You'd really rather watch football?" Yeah, yeah, all day.
Right. That's what I
And
enjoy.
yeah, and that was pretty much like definitely the beginning of the end because it just, there comes a point in every relationship where it's like the wheels fall off. And I can't, like, I need somebody that wants to watch, that likes to read books, watch TV, sports, go out. Like, I don't need a dull person. Like, I need somebody who's like, let's do it, whatever it is. And like, I'm definitely a person, and this is like one of those things where broken people will just like tell you, like, well, I can't do that. Why can't you? And they can't give you a good explanation because they haven't processed the trauma that brought them to that point.
Right.
And again, be happy, happy spouse. We tell people like love is a world of yes. And that's one of the reasons. Because when you say no to the person that you love over and over and over again, it's because you're trying to like paint them inside a box. When they get used to only being able to enjoy the things that you allow them to enjoy, that's unhealthy.
Right. And sometimes you have to try things that you never tried before. You have to be willing to do things and open up your horizons to different things and different possibilities. So
Yeah.
say you are a person that you're not big on flying. Like I'm not big on flying, but I would get on the plane.
Yeah. Get on that plane. Go see that place. Get on the plane, take 3 Benadryls, get a window seat, and knock your own ass out.
Right.
You know, pass out, take an Ambien, whatever, sit in the window seat. Nobody's going to bother you. You're traveling, a good traveling companion will wake you up like a half hour before, save the snacks that the flight attendant left for you untouched. And, all right, let's get it together. Let's prep you for landing. And whatever. That's what you do. And like two things that I never thought that I would really love, 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 that I love, that somebody had to talk me into, was watching NASCAR and eating oysters everywhere I go. Everywhere I went, this for my birthday a few months ago, everywhere I went, somebody was giving me oysters. A couple of weeks ago, and go into the city and hang out with my friend, and it's like I get oysters. But that was only because like I was in a relationship with somebody who loved them, and I would never ever ever eat them. I thought they were like just repulsive. I was like,
Mhm.
try it. And I tried it and I'm like, oh my God, what have I been missing for 50 years? And now it's like, yeah, I can talk about them all day. I can talk about NASCAR all day. You know,
And that's because you let yourself be open to other things.
love is open.
Right.
Love is open. And it's like when you've been in a long relationship with somebody, you're definitely open to doing things that you would never ever do. And if you're closed, why are you closed? You have to ask yourself, if you're closed to if you're closed up to love, who broke you? Who hurt you? And why are you not willing to fix it?
Right. And some people are just they're so broken and they're so hurt that they don't want to allow themselves to ever get hurt like that again. And that's where I say after a relationship, you definitely have to take the time to heal and let yourself get right. take a couple of months or whatever and get yourself together, because you're not going to allow yourself what you deserve if you jump right back into the dating pool.
Yeah. And if you're so in a hurry to find a new person that you're just willing to like let anybody fill the spot, then you got to examine it.
Right.
Like, what are they filling the hole in my heart? Are they filling the hole in my soul? Are they filling the hole in my brain? Because like real love does the whole thing. It's like that purple insulation on the home decorating shows that they put in the wall and just like insulates everything. I think real love fills you up all over. But like I don't have, it's you stop and you're like, oh, I don't have a partner. I don't have a travel companion. That was like it was so vital for me. It was so vital for me when I had my breakup. Because originally, like at the beginning of COVID, I was planning to have my 60th birthday in Greece. I really wanted to like go to Greece and lay in the sun, and it got smaller and smaller and smaller. And then it wasn't even about me anymore. And then I
Mm.
was like, you know what? You need to take a nice trip with the love of your life. So I went alone
There
because
you go.
I am the love of my life.
And I always tell people, in order to be with someone, you have to be comfortable being alone. If you can't spend time by yourself, you can't spend time with anyone else. Like, people don't understand that. Like, you really have to be comfortable within your own skin, and you have to know what you want, and what you will allow and what you won't allow before you get in any other relationship. You have to make sure your relationship with yourself is strong before you go to any relationship with anyone else. You can't be sturdy, and you can't lean on no one else if you can't even lean on your own. So you have to take the time to make sure you're right before you try getting into anything else. And that's the one thing that I always said, like, after any relationship, like, all right, take your moment, whatever, however long that may be, and make sure you're good with you. Then after you're finished, you could conquer anything else. But you really have to make sure you're on point, and you have an idea of what you want before you jump into any other situation.
And if somebody, now I know I am not going to give you the third degree on the first date. I'm just not. I'm not that person. I'm never going to ask somebody like some virtual stranger 100 different questions
Hmm.
on the first date. I may, however, ask you one question at every subsequent time I see you for like the next 2 years. I don't have to know everything about you like tomorrow afternoon by 2:30. Like I just don't have to do that. But if somebody stops answering your questions, you have to ask them why. Like, why was it like the first day, ask me anything. I'm an open book. Ask me anything. And then like 3 months down the road, it's like, why are you still on this?
They're
Because
on it because it's something about that situation that wasn't clear to them, that they didn't get the full spectrum from. So they want to find out what part was missing. And it shouldn't be that much of a big deal for a person to find out.
yeah. But again, why why does someone not want to open up?
And it may be like they just don't want to open up to you. They may be open to someone else, but for some reason they're not opening up to you. And if it's like that, okay, that's cool with me. I'll keep it pushing, but I'm not gonna sit there and waste my time with someone that I can't have a conversation with. So I'll
You
just be like, all right.
I'm not this isn't like episode 217 of Law and Order. I just I process things very slowly and deliberately, and that's exactly who I am. And I'm not going to decide all of a sudden to not be somebody. Like, it's just who I am. I ask a
Mhm.
lot of questions, but I don't ask them all at once.
And it's nothing wrong with that. Like conversation is everything.
Yeah. And I find that conversation is everything. But I also like when you're comfortable enough with somebody that you don't have to talk for hours. I can lay like you can like lay on the couch or lay on the bed for hours and watch a movie and really not say much.
To me, honestly, that's the best relationship
Yeah.
where we could just hang out and enjoy each other's time. And we don't have to talk about nothing. We could just watch a movie. We could listen to music, just hang out, let our hair down.
Yeah. In your pajamas, like with like, yeah, in your pajamas or whatever. And because that's when you're comfortable enough. And I know for myself, I'm healed enough that I don't have to talk to you out of anxiety anymore because I will talk when I'm nervous.
Hmm.
And one of the pink flags that I've displayed to other people is like an inability to appropriately shut up. You know, I get accused of like, remember that time in band camp? Yeah, I get that more than you think. Very uncool.
Mm.
But yeah. And so you really have to work at it and heal. Don't carry your shit in like that big emotional tote bag from relationship to relationship. Work at it, release it.
And when you say work at it, release it, you really mean work at it because that is work. And you have to make sure you do the work. You have to make sure you take care of you because I always tell people you can't take care of anyone else if you don't take care of you first.
Yeah, like I'm a little anxious now that I'm in therapy that I'm back in therapy that I'm not going to be as fun. because I'm going to be like going over myself and writing things down and stop and process and feel my feels. And it's work. It's work that I've had to make time for. And it's like I work hard enough.
I
Now I
hear
gotta
you.
add this, and this is like a side gig.
But it has to be done. And you have to make sure you're good with it. And you understand like the next person problem isn't your problem. So whatever their hang up is, you don't have to take responsibility for their hang up. And if you
Oh,
don't click, oh well, it wasn't meant to be. We may turn out to be great friends. We just that's about it.
but what I do have to look at, and what other broken people have to look at, is those times where your little inner voice told you, like, this may be a good day to like walk away. This might be a good point to like give it up.
Yes. Yes. That
Why
is
did
true.
I do that? What broke part of me made me not decide that enough was enough. The first time I thought enough was enough. So, Potter, where you been? Ugh.
My boy is back. Haven't seen Z in a while. I know he's been a busy man though. Works a lot of hours.
Up, taking care of our city.
See, look, right
Mhm.
at work. I knew he was gonna say that. The
Thanks for
topic is
sharing.
broken people
Yeah, we're talking about broken people.
and when to walk away
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
how to make sure you put yourself in a situation where you're good before you try to jump into anything else new. Don't bring baggage into your new situation from your old situation, you know. And sometimes we're just good for friends. We're not good as lovers. We could be friends, but we got to make sure you're good. That's it.
I have only one ex. Broken people are a work in progress.
Yes.
That's absolutely true. But what about the broken people who don't want to work on that part of themselves? I'm broken and I'm going to like take my brokenness, the sharp edges of my broken parts, and like cut you to pieces with it. What do you do with them?
Right, because I don't want to admit that I'm broken. So it's everybody else's fault. It's never my fault. So sometimes we have to claim it ourselves. We have to take responsibility for what we are and what we go through. And that's why I tell people like take the time to find yourself before you look to find anyone else. And you'll be good. But I like the way he stated that broken people are a work in progress. That is so true. And that's something a lot of people don't take to heart.
Yeah. If you can't get past your past, you got to get past your past.
Right.
And that whole like, you know, you can only get over somebody by getting under somebody else. No, how about we don't do that anymore, like America? We just stop doing that. Like, it's when you have your first kiss after a breakup and you're not like really ready, it kind of feels like you're just doing it to get it done.
Yeah, you're going through the motions.
Yeah. But like when you have that first kiss after you've been broken up and you chilled and you've hung out and you talked it all out and you got it out of your system and you worked it all through and you like reset your life right back, it feels like thrilling. It feels mind blowing.
Yes, yes. And when you get to the point where you find that person where you can converse and you could talk about anything, or you could go back and do what you said. We could sit there and just watch TV all day and just veg out and just enjoy one another. And that to me, that's one of the most beautiful things where you could just sit there and not do jack and just enjoy the person you're with. It's not about a conversation. It's not all about sex. It's not all about anything except, listen, I like your company. I like being around you. When you get to that point, I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and that's when like your next first date wows you. When you're all healed up, that's when your next first date knocks your socks off because
Hmm.
you're ready for somebody to like knock your socks off.
And see, I like what Zapata said again, where he
Yeah,
said he weighs and he stopped blaming himself and started weighing the good and the bad. And see, that's important. Like sometimes when people go through breakups and stuff, they put too much on themselves. It takes two to tango. So, like he said, you look at the good and the bad, and you learn from it. Every situation is a lesson learned.
yeah, in every situation, every relationship that you're in, and not just romantic relationships. Like every relationship that you have that's not with a baby, a gr- a baby or a pet has
Mhm.
conditions on it. I don't care what you try and tell me. There's only infants and pets get unconditional love.
100%.
Even your kids. It's like, you know what? You got to hold up your end of the bargain. But still, that's the thing. But in any relationship you have with another human being, you're going to learn from them. Everyone's a teacher. Nobody gets away without teaching somebody something. Newborn baby, first day, teaches you something.
And
But
I'm going back to what you said earlier. Don't
mm,
be afraid to try things and to try different things and to open yourself up to different things. Like you said, if you're a person that you're not into flying, don't be afraid to fly. I'm sorry. Like take those pills and do what you have to do so you could get out there and enjoy.
every broken person deals with the trigger words and it brings them back to the relationship that broke them, which is absolutely true. And when I was, when I was going through a breakup once, I explained that one of the actions gave me a trigger from another relationship. And they were like, well, that's not my fault, but that doesn't excuse your action. Yeah, you didn't know I was going to take it so bad, but it still wasn't right. Two
Right.
wrongs don't make a right.
And if a person tells you this is something that affects them in a certain way, you have to try to work around that. Like I said, it's a relationship. It's not one-sided. We we're here to lean on one another, help one another, build with one another. So you got to be smart enough and caring enough to understand, like, if I really want this to work, we have to work at it together.
Yeah, and if someone really matters to you, if somebody really matters to you, you have to be willing to try everything at least one time. And you also have to be willing to accept when another person's actions or behaviors have to be limited for their own health and sanity,
That's true. That
because
is 100%.
it goes hand in hand. Because yeah, you got to be willing to get on that plane, and you will also have to know when. All right, my partner went on a plane once this year. It is definitely not something that they feel comfortable and safe doing. How about our next trip away gets to be a road trip?
Mhm.
You know, yeah, did I really want to spend my summer vacation 9, 10 hours in a car? Probably not. Will I do it for somebody I love? Hell yes, I will.
And that's what it's about. Give and take.
Right. But you know what? They have to matter. And that's the most important thing. And when you're broken and you don't know what matters to you and what makes you happy and strong and full and well, no one else can matter to you in the way that they should.
That is true. That is true. And look what time it is. It's our time.
That time, and broken people will always have that trust issue. And it's not just like checking your DMs on your phone and wanting your phone password. It's little trusts. It's the little trust, it's the big trust, and it goes further than fidelity. It's like
But see,
intellectual and emotional trusts.
they'll have those trust issues until they know they can trust you. Until you show them, I'm not here to hurt you. I'm not here to cross you. We're a team. And when you find that person that you are sure has your back, a lot will change.
Yeah, but and it is, we're on the hour, and this is a topic that, wow, we could probably go on for days.
Oh
Shockingly
yeah.
enough. But our next week's topic will be manifesting love in 2023.
Ooh,
Yes,
that's gonna be an interesting one.
everybody bring your pencil, paper, and get ready to write down all the things that you want out of love.
That sounds good. And Zapata, we're on every Tuesday now.
Every Tuesday at 7:30, Zapata, we miss you. We are so glad you're back. Thank you for joining in. And yeah, next week, come manifest some fun.
All right.
Bye.
Always love. I'll speak to you later.
Au revoir. Bye bye.
All right. Bye bye.
Bonsoir.